Greetings, 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 good people. Happy Tuesday. It is Tuesday, May 7th. The year is 2024, and it is Hot Topics time. If you are new here, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. All right. I want to talk about Tiffany Haddish. Tiffany Haddish done got into another car accident, y'all. She's okay. I'm going to discuss that in today's Hot Topics lineup. Also, Wendy Williams, somewhat of an update. Not an update that I would like, but it's an update nonetheless. All right. So as you're coming in, please pay your admission fee by hitting the like button. Okay. Make sure you share your thoughts in the comments. All right. Thanks to those who have been participating in the comment section and hitting the like button. I greatly appreciate it. All right. So before we get into Tiffany Haddish and Auntie Wendy Williams, I want to circle back to a topic, okay, that I talked about yesterday in yesterday's Hot Topics segment, and that is Pastor Keon Henderson, okay? This is the man who is a pastor of a church in, I think, Houston, right? Is it Houston, Dallas, somewhere in Texas, where all the rest of the mega churches are at, all right? And he's also married to Shawnee O'Neal, now Shawnee Henderson. So there was a lot of backlash that this Pastor Keon, received because during praise and worship, okay, in his church, during his church service, there was a choir member or a congregant, whatever. I think she was in the choir, and she was very loud, okay, seemingly caught up in the spirit. So it appeared, right? Now, those of you who are very familiar with church culture, you know that there are people in the church that can be very extra. There are people in the church that fake it. Well, a lot of people thought that this woman was faking it, and he put her in order. Some people said that the way he did it was rude. I'm just trying to catch you up if you're not familiar. If you're familiar, just bear with me, okay? So during praise and worship, he snapped his fingers and he told her to calm down. How about I just play the video? Well, the reason why I'm bringing this up again, okay, is because Keon and Shawnee were both on Tamron Hall's show. And Pastor Keon, addressed the situation. Here's the situation. Like to hear it? Here go, real quick. Let's watch and listen. Can you hear the woman screaming in the back? Uh-huh. My goodness. See, he said shh first.
Hey. Stop her. Hush.
He's snapping. Some people wasn't feeling that.
Hush. Silence in the name of Jesus.
And he was not the only, if you listen closely, he was not the only one that said silence. There was a couple of other people that were saying silence.
I lift my hands into the only voice I want heard is his. So praise.
Okay, so that was, then he doubled down and he said that basically, there should be order, yada yada. I didn't feel like playing that one. Now here's him and Shawnee O'Neal on Tamron Hall show. Now I'm gonna be pausing and stopping this because this is copyright material and we don't want no strikes around here. All right, Sister Tamron, tell us what you think.
It's not the total story. Yeah. So tell me what happened there.
Well, social media is into cuts, not context. And every suggestion that I got from every naysayer, I've already done. This is a 4-year battle, right?
Oh, this is ongoing.
This is ongoing. So
He said that the lady is ongoing. She basically always does this. There were people in the comments of the initial post stating that this woman does this every Sunday for attention. Pastor Keon said that he has addressed this woman previously. He addressed her privately more than once. In my opinion, I thought so. Pastor Keon doesn't strike me as the type of guy that's doing things for attention or doing things to go viral. I'm pretty sure if, he addressed her in that moment in front of everyone during service, I'm pretty sure he had to have talked to her previously. Some people don't think so. Here it is from the horse's mouth.
Already talked to her personally. I'd already had ushers go up to her. I've already had prayer warriors. I've had everything. So she did it publicly after being asked not to.
What is she crying?
There you go.
It's an emotional...
Well, as a pastor, I know the difference between disturbance and worship. And what people have to understand What people have to understand is that every time you hear a noise in church, it isn't worship. And so there has to be order. For instance, it's okay to applaud in this room right now. But if somebody got up and just started clapping right now, I'm sure somebody would bring order to the room.
Yeah.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The woman has been a disturbance before. Pastor Keon got tired of telling her the same thing over and over again. And there you have it. So now what? Is he still wrong? Is he still out of order? Is there still a way to do it? That's some of the criticism that he faced. You know, there's a way to do things. Yes, there is a way to do things. But just like a child, if you reprimand a child and you say to them, hey, this is unacceptable, and they keep doing it, then the reprimand is going to get a little bit more stern, and it might happen in public. It is what it is. Anyway, share your thoughts in the comments about that. Moving along. Now, those of you who are regulars here, you know that this is a topic that's very sensitive to me because Auntie Wendy is my girl. All right. Now, I remember when the documentary came out, the most recent one, or whatever they want to call that, on Lifetime. I was not what was it, 4 parts, 3 or 4 parts? I barely made it past part 1. It was very difficult to watch, and I didn't watch anything beyond part 1. I bowed out gracefully because it's very sad. I've done multiple videos on this very channel about Miss Wendy Williams. And it's just heartbreaking to see. I know people have their strong opinions about her, and that's fine, but she's a human being nonetheless, and she's very significant in my childhood. So this is my Auntie Wendy in my head, right? So the Jasmine brand is reporting that Wendy Williams, the Lifetime documentary, the producers were quote unquote worried about Wendy's living conditions while filming. And I'm going to tell you, this is a crock of BS, because if you guys were so concerned, see, now what they're trying to do is, I think that some of these producers, and the people that were involved, in the filming of this documentary, they're starting to probably feel guilty. And I think the hammer is going to be coming down on them. I don't know why I think that. So now here we are months later. When did the documentary come out? Like 2 months ago? Now they were worried, but you still continue to film. Anyway, let's get into this article. The producers of Lifetime's controversial Wendy Williams documentary, Where is Wendy Williams? They have expressed concerns about the TV host receiving proper care under her guardianship. During a recent panel discussion held in Hollywood, executive producers of the docuseries, Mark Ford and Erica Hansen, they spoke on the alleged unsettling circumstances Wendy Williams was living under during production. The producers mentioned that the 59-year-old lived alone without food in her refrigerator. They also alluded that she's being kept away from her loved ones. This is all stuff that we have been saying, and people deemed us crazy. Okay, I have tweeted about this. I have sat quietly on my speculations. I've had kitchen table talk about my speculations. It's obvious that Wendy Williams was being exploited with this documentary. And I'm going to say this. I tweeted this, but I don't feel like pulling up the tweet. If you follow me on Twitter, then you should have seen it. Okay. I mentioned that I know that everyone is distracted by the fact that they think that Kelvin Hunter is stealing from Wendy Williams. And, his reputation is tarnished, right? I'm not saying it should or it shouldn't be. I'm just stating what is. His reputation is tarnished. But I could see beyond that story. I believe Wendy is being robbed blind, and everyone is being distracted by the Kevin Hunter that left her, devastated, and it's all his fault. She has a conservatorship, right? She's under conservatorship, and she basically has somebody who is an executor of her life. Why is this guardian not making sure that Wendy Williams' bills are being paid? There was a story that Wendy Williams' property taxes has not been paid in some time. How is that so? That's irresponsible. What's the purpose of a guardian? The guardian is the one that's making sure that she doesn't even have access to her own money. Wendy, that is, right? So then if Wendy doesn't have access to her money, why aren't her bills being paid? That's the least that you should be doing. Well, forget this article for a second. Kevin Hunter is in court now, and he basically accused this guardian of being a fraud. Apparently, it's been revealed that she has several She has a RICO case pending against her. And he basically blew the lid off of what some of us have been speculating. Yeah, Kevin may not have been husband of the year, right? But I do believe that he's telling the truth as it pertains to what they're trying to do to Wendy Williams. And I remember on his live years ago, he mentioned this. He even went as far as to say, he took it down off of his Instagram channel. I remember years ago, he even went as far as to say, I'll never forget this. He said that they are going to make his son and Wendy's son, look like he's a criminal, and they're going to make it look like he is robbing her, stealing from her. What happened? Everybody focused on the DoorDash bill and how much money little Kev was spending on DoorDash, and talking about Wendy Williams paying his rent and how much she was paying. If you knew Wendy Williams, really knew her, you would know that her son is her everything. And she oftentimes stated, as long as she's alive and as long as she has money, she's going to give her son whatever he wants. That is her choice. It's her right. It's her son. It's her money. But as far as this guardian is concerned, if people are saying that Wendy had no food in her house and, she's all over the place and she's not being well taken care of, what was the purpose of putting this guardian in place? The producers also said that basically the guardian was keeping her away from her family. Stuff that we, the people, Wendy watchers, have been saying. Like I said, I wholeheartedly believe that Wendy Williams is being robbed blind. That's exactly why Kevin is not getting paid his alimony, which is what Wendy Williams agreed to when she was of sound mind. And it looks terrible, but unfortunately, he's going to have to sue the estate. I'm not in agreement with it. I'm not in disagreement with it. But what I do believe is that this case that Kevin is, basically bringing before the court as it pertains to Wendy Williams' guardian, it is going to expose a lot of stuff. And I'm going to be staying tuned to listen to what Kevin has to say. Okay, I understand he's not your favorite. I get it. I totally get it. But that doesn't mean that he ain't got nothing worth listening to. He doesn't have anything to say that's not worth listening to. Oh, I'm listening. Because I do believe this whole Kevin is a terrible husband and he drove Wendy crazy story or headline is to distract us from the fact that Wendy is being robbed blind, and it ain't by Kevin Hunter. Now, where the heck is Wendy Williams? Where is she at now? After that documentary, we've heard or seen nothing. Okay? Anyway, so one of the producers basically says toward the end of the documentary, we were very, very worried, and saying to her management, who was the only other person that was coming into her apartment on a daily basis, quote, something has to be done to help her. This is getting very dire and scary. This is what some of the producers are now saying that they said during filming. But you know what's interesting? You guys got the job done. You made sure that you had 1, 2, 3, 4, however many parts of this documentary signed, sealed, and delivered to the network. So how concerned were you? One of the producers went on to claim that the producers were not informed. Some of the producers were not informed of Wendy Williams's medical diagnosis. So he went on to say that basically she's being kept isolated, not keeping in touch with her family. She's being prevented from keeping in touch with her family. Now, stories have come out that, is it Will, the jeweler turned manager, and then the other girl, Sean Zanotti, they are no longer working with Wendy Williams. I don't know who had the authority to fire them. They were hired by somebody for a reason, right? Whatever. I just feel that this is a crying shame, and it really sucks to see Wendy's legacy just kind of like unravel and is in pieces and shambles. The whole empire is in shambles. And like I said, I'm going to hold true to what I believe. We, the public that care about Wendy Williams, we're being tricked into thinking that Kevin is the one that's responsible for all of this. And I'm not buying that. I'm absolutely positively not buying that. Call him whatever you want, but it doesn't take away from the fact that where's Wendy's money? Where's Wendy's money? Why does she owe property taxes if her finances are quote unquote being handled by a so-called guardian? Wendy is being robbed blind. That's my opinion, and I am sticking to it. All right. Oh, Tiffany Haddish, y'all. You know, this is really sad. This is absolutely positively sad. I know that Tiffany is doing a lot of promotion. Apparently, she's supposed to be in the new Bad Boys movie. Who the heck is she supposed to play? I should have Googled it before I started recording. But anyway, Tiffany Haddish gets into a car accident just before taping Dax Shepard's podcast. She said that she was trembling a little. So this article was published May 6th, which was yesterday, Monday, right? And I saw her interview today. Actually, this morning I watched the interview that she had with the Breakfast Club. She is promoting a book, and I think it's called Curse You with Love or something like that. She goes into talking about her mental health. She goes into talking about taking accountability. She did speak about what's going on, you know, overseas, if you know what I'm saying, as far as protests and lives being taken. And she got very emotional about that. That interview was very deep and intense. The first 10 minutes, I'm like, this is sad. You know, Tiffany was basically talking about how she lost her grandmother, and she says she feels like she has a cloud of grief around her. And I don't know if too many people knew that her grandmother passed away. She obviously was very connected and very close with her grandmother. So I can understand how that would leave a big hole in your heart, you know, on top of everything else that's going on. I do see someone that is really a kind-hearted person. She's a to me, she's an empath through and through. And I just feel like some of the things that happen in life to people, she's having a hard time coping, but she's fighting. And at the end of the interview on the Breakfast Club, check it out. If you can see beyond, you know, some of the stuff that has been going on with her lately, she's just a woman who loves love and wants companionship. And she's hurting right now. She's absolutely positively hurting. And she's just trying her very best to be a good person. You guys know recently she caught another DUI. This situation doesn't really tell me, like, it doesn't say much like what happened per se. I read 3 different articles, and none of the articles are talking about exactly how this accident happened. No one was hurt. She was able to walk away. None of the articles make any mention of authorities showing up. So here's the gist of it, the long and short of it. She was scheduled to be on Dax Shepard's podcast. She was recently on the Sherry Shepherd show? And it is Teachers Appreciation Week. So one of her teachers, one of the ladies that taught her how to read, showed up and surprised her. So she's doing a lot of press. You know, like I said, she has a book out, and she also is supposed to be on the new Bad Boys movie. Tell me who is she playing? She's not playing Martin's wife, is she? Anyway, I guess we'll find out in June. So this particular article, basically, she was going to be on Dax's podcast. And on her way to the podcast, she gets into an accident. And then she sees someone who asked her, is she okay? Is she okay? I guess the car must have like spun around. She said that she was trembling. She said no one got hurt. She ended up calling her sister, and she saw a guy. And she looked at him like, is he familiar? Did I sleep with him before? You know, she's a comedian. So I think comedy and jokes are her defense mechanism. I can kind of tell that from the Breakfast Club interview. Anyway, so she ended up realizing that she recognized the guy who was asking her if she was okay from a comedy club or something like that. And I think she ended up calling Dax. Dax came and picked her up. And he said to her, you know, do you want me? I'm going to take you home. And she said, no. I don't want to go home because all I'm going to do is cry. Mind you, she just got into an accident. Again, none of the articles that I read went into detail as to what happened, how the accident happened, didn't say anything about her being sober or drunk. The good thing is no one was hurt. Did she fall asleep? Did she daydream? Who knows? So anyway, after Dax picked her up, you know, she didn't want to go home. She said she didn't want to be alone because she was just going to cry, basically. I'm just basically summarizing the article. And she went to the podcast and she was a little shaken up. She said she was trembling, but she said that trembling is just trauma leaving the body. I wanted to know what happened. I mean, I'm glad that she's okay. No one got hurt, but what happened? Is she ashamed to say? Is this story even real? Because you left the scene, like what? No mention of officers showing up. I ain't see TMZ said nothing, and Harvey and them always got the scoop. But Tiffany Haddish is going through a lot. And I know some people don't care. They figure everybody goes through something. But watching her interview on The Breakfast Club, I encourage you guys to watch it. It just made me think of having grace for people, you know what I mean? And sometimes the grace that we receive that we sometimes don't even realize, you know what I mean? But it just made me I just kept saying hearing in my head, just grace, having grace for people. That girl is dealing with a lot, and she's really trying her best to be strong. And she did take accountability, which is not easy for a lot of people. I just really wish her well. And she said something too. I think Charlemagne asked her something along the lines of would she trade her fame? And she says, yeah, she had a lot more peace when she was broke, I think she said. And I just think that the business and everything that's going on in her personal life and everything being magnified because she is a celebrity or an entertainer, comedian, yada, yada, and her being an empath, I just really think that it's taking a toll on her. And I really hope and pray, I genuinely hope and pray that she holds on until things turn around. I really do, because she just seems so sad. But she just seems like she just wants love. She wants to be okay. She misses her grandmother. She broke up with Common. She's not in a relationship. She talked about dating. She gave Jess Hilarious some good advice. It was just, she's trying. She's really trying. She really is trying. So I don't know. I guess all of us, we need to have grace for one another. We need to extend grace to one another, because somewhere throughout our life, whether we realize it or not, whether we accept it or not, grace has been extended to us, So that interview was really hard to watch, because I don't like to see anybody sad like that. And it's not like she was sad throughout the interview, but if you look at her face, her demeanor, even her ability to tell certain jokes, she just seemed really, really sad, so, and she got very emotional during certain parts. She talked about her daddy issues that she uncovers in the book, and she was very transparent. So, like I said, it's worth watching, and let's extend some grace to Tiffany Haddish or anyone else in the world, whether we think they deserve it or not. Just have a heart, man. Just ponder on that a little bit. Extend grace where you see fit, in my opinion, because grace was extended to you, whether you believe it or not. Anyway, that's it for today's Hot Topics, y'all. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Stay tuned, because I am going to be uploading another video with a recap and review of the Met Gala 2024. I didn't have time to fit it in this video, so make sure your notifications are on. If they are not, don't forget to pay your admission fee. Please hit the like button, drop down in the comments, and share your thoughts. All right, y'all, that's all I got. Ain't got no more. And until next time, talk to you later.